محمد خوشنودی امام زمانہ بآواز بلند صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد تاجیل امام زمانہ بآواز بلند صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد و محمد وعجل فرجہم۔ مومنات، آج جو ہے وہ 29 صفر ہے اور آج جو ہے ہماری خمسہ مجالس جو کہ جس کا سلسلہ ہمارا چل رہا ہے، آج اس کی چوتھی مجلس ہے اور کل وینسڈے اس کی آخری مجلس ہوگی، اور ان مجالس سے خطابت کے فرائض قبلہ مولانا سید حسن مجتبہ رضوی صاحب انجام دے رہے ہیں۔ آج کی مجلس اور کل وینسڈے کی مجلس جو ہے وہ دونوں انگلش میں ہے، اور آپ لوگوں کے علم میں ہے کہ ہماری ان تمام مجالس کا آغاز ہمارے سنڈے اسکول کے بچے، حسینی سنڈے اسکول کے بچے تلاوت کلام پاک اور دعائے امام زمانہ سے کرتے ہیں۔ تو اسی سلسلے میں ایک اور اسٹوڈنٹس کو، حسینی سنڈے اسکول کے طالب علم کو، جعفر عباس کو میں ریکویسٹ کروں گا کہ وہ آئیں اور آج کی مجلس کا آغاز تلاوت قرآن پاک سے کریں۔ محمد وآل محمد بآواز بلند صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد
صلوات أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد إلهي أدم البلاء وبريح الخفاء وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجاء وضاقت الأرض ومنيت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتكى وإليك المعول في شدة والرخاء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمه البصير أو هو أقرب يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكم كافياني وانصرني فإنكم ناصراني يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة 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 الأجل 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 يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين صلوات
فرجہم۔ جعفر کے علم میں اضافے کے لیے ایک دفعہ بآواز بلند صلوات پڑھ دیجئے اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ اب میں حدیث قصہ کے لیے ریکویسٹ کروں گا علی جعفری سے کہ وہ آئیں اور حدیث قصہ کی تلاوت فرمائیں۔ نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآله. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء بنت رسول الله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أوذك بالله يا أبتا من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيت به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلالو كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمّا فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمر فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمّا إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمّا فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمّا إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتا يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بدأتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبألها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وهفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال لي أبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مهموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسودنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
ماشاء اللہ جزاک اللہ. علی جعفری کے علم میں اضافے کے لیے ایک دفعہ بآواز بلند صلوات پڑھ دیجئے. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآلہ. ایک نوے کے کچھ بند ہیں, اس کے بعد جو ہے میں وہ کامران بھائی کو ریکویسٹ کروں گا سلام کے لیے. یہ ماتم صدا رہے اور اس سے سوا رہے, یہ ماتم صدا رہے اور اس سے سوا رہے, یہ فرش عزائے سبت نبی تا محشر بچھا رہے. کتنی ہی اٹھے ظلمت کی گھٹا ہو کتنی ہی تاریک فضا, بجھنے نہیں پائے شمع ازا کتنے ہی اٹھے طوفان مگر روشن یہ دیا رہے. ایک نسل ہٹے ایک نسل بڑھے, ایک شمع بجھے ایک شمع جلے, شبیر کا ماتم ہوتا رہے نسلاً بعد نسلاً یوں ہی جاری یہ سلسلہ رہے. میں اسی کے ساتھ ملتمس ہوں کامران واسطی بھائی سے کہ وہ آئیں اور آج کی مجلس میں جو ہے سلام سے ہدیہ پیش کریں. نعرہ تکبیر. رسالت نعرہ رسالت نعرہ حیدری
ایک سوات کا اور سہارا دیجیے گا.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.
نہ محمل ہے نہ ہودج ہے نہ لشکر کی وہ سج دھج ہے نہ سر پہ علم نہ چادر ہے. اللہ یہ کیسا منظر ہے. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. سفر سے آتے ہیں سوغات درد لاتے ہیں. کیا سلام محمد کے آستانے کو کٹا کے آئے ہیں زہرا کے سب گھرانے کو. نہ کر قبول تو ہم بے کسوں کے آنے کو. یہ نوحہ کرتے ہیں اور اشک خون بہاتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. مدینہ ہم تیرے والی کو آئے ہیں کھو کر. مدینہ کوفے میں سر ننگے ہم پھرے در در. مدینہ داغ رسن ہے ہمارے شانوں پر. اٹھا کے ہاتھ مدینے کو یہ سناتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. ہر ایک قدم ہے بکا کب لبوں پہ بین نہیں. ہمائے زندہ پزہرا کا نور عین نہیں. ارے مدینہ اکبر و قاسم نہیں حسین نہیں. یہ کیسے کیسے جوان ہیں جو یاد آتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. چلا بشیر یہ دیتا ہوا خبر ہر جا مگر معلی ہاشم میں دیکھتا ہے کیا کہ ایک مریض سرے راہ ہے کھڑی تنہا ہے منتظر کہ وہ کن بے کے لوگ آتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. خبر یہ پھیلی تو ماتم ہر ایک گھر میں ہوا. نکل نکل پڑی سب عورتیں برہنہ پا. گری زمین پہ صغرا کے اس پہ چرخ گرا. جو سوگوار صغرا کے پاس آتے ہیں. مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں. جو آئی کان میں آواز بانوئے مضطر. کہاں ہو اے میرے والی امام جن و بشر. تڑپ کے رہ گئی صغرا بپا ہوا محشر دبیر بس کے اب افلاک تھر تھراتے ہیں مسافران مصیبت وطن میں آتے ہیں پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات
جزاک اللہ. کامران بھائی کی توفیقات میں اضافے کے لیے ایک دفعہ بآواز بلند صلوات پڑھ دیجئے. اللہم صلی علی محمد علیہ. اب میں اسی کے ساتھ ملتمس ہوں محمد رضا بھائی سے کہ وہ آئیں اور مرثیہ خوانی بصورت پرصداری بصورت مرثیہ خوانی کے پیش کریں. نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ حیدری، حیدری، محمد و آل محمد بآواز بلند صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجہم. سلام کی چند اشارہ خدمت میں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی گھر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی گھر نظر آتا نہیں اور مکی کوئی بجز حیدر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی اے نبی دینے کو دے دیجئے جسے چاہے اللہ. ان میں کوئی فاتح خیبر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی اے بتو جھک جاؤ سجدے کوئی سی میں خیر ہے. اے بتو جھک جاؤ سجدے کوئی سی میں خیر ہے. کون ہے دوش پیغمبر پر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی ہے جوان بیٹے کا غم بے نور آنکھیں ہو گئی. ہے جوان بیٹے کا غم بے نور آنکھیں ہو گئی. شاہدی کو لاشِ اکبر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی گود خالی دیکھ کر مادر کے صغرا نے کہا. گود خالی دیکھ کر مادر کے صغرا نے کہا. کیا ہوا اماں میرا اصغر نظر آتا نہیں. خانہ کعبہ سا کوئی نعرہ صلوات. سورہ فاتحہ سے نکل رہا ہے. پہنچے اسیر شام سے چھٹ کر جو کربلا، پہنچے اسیر شام سے چھٹ کر جو کربلا، تسخیر ہو چکا طارق سخت مرحلہ، اترا جو بار سر سے تو آدائے اقربا، ایک ایک مرنے والا نگاہوں میں پھر گیا، ایک ایک مرنے والا نگاہوں میں مر گیا، دل میں گھٹے ہوئے تھے جو ارماں ابل پڑے، ارے اشکوں کے ساتھ دل کے بھی ٹکڑے نکل پڑے، اشکوں کے ساتھ دل کے بھی ٹکڑے نکل پڑے، کوئی تڑپ کے بولی کہ اکبر کہاں ہو تم، چلائی کوئی قاسم بے پر کہاں ہو تم، ایک ماں صدائیں دیتی ہے اصغر کہاں ہو تم، زینب پکاری عابد مستر کہاں ہو تم، بیٹا نہ دل پہ بس ہے نہ قابو ہے صبر پر، للہ لے چلو مجھے بھائی کی قبر پر، للہ لے چلو مجھے بھائی کی قبر پر، بولی لپٹ کے قبر سے بھیا میں آ گئی، بھیا بھیا سنا میں شام تلک بے ردا گئی، بھیا سکینہ ہم سے نگاہیں پھرا گئی، نکلی نہ قید خانے سے موت اس کو کھا گئی، بچی تو رہ چکی تھی بہت تھک کے سو گئی، لیکن وہ ماں کی گود جو ویران ہو گئی، لیکن وہ ماں کی گود جو ویران ہو گئی، بھیا ذرا رباب کی حالت تو دیکھیے، کیسی اداس اداس ہے صورت تو دیکھیے، دل خوں زباں خاموش ہے ہمت تو دیکھیے، ہر کام مرگ تازہ قیامت تو دیکھیے، دکھیا پہ کیسے کیسے مصائب گزر گئے، ارے وارث بھی سر سے اٹھ گیا بچے بھی مر گئے، وارث بھی سر سے اٹھ گیا بچے بھی مر گئے، اس وقت کچھ عجیب تھا عالم رباب پر، گردن جھکائے بیٹھی تھی دنیا سے بے خبر، شانہ ہلا کے بولی جو زینب چشم تر، یک لخت جیسے چونک اٹھی دکھا اٹھا کے سر، بس اتنا کہہ سکی کہ بہت دن گزر گئے، ارے آئے تھے ساتھ باپ کے اصغر کدھر گئے، آئے تھے ساتھ باپ کے اصغر کدھر گئے، اس نالائے رباب پہ محشر بپا ہوا، عاشور کا سما تھا نظر میں کچا ہوا، ہر آنکھ میں تھا چہرہ اصغر بسا ہوا، گودی میں جیسے باپ کا منہ دیکھتا ہوا، گودی میں جیسے باپ کا منہ دیکھتا ہوا، قبر حسین کرب سے تھرا کے رہ گئی، پرچھائی جیسی موت کے لہرا کے رہ گئی، پرچھائیں جیسے موت کے لہرا کے رہ گئیں پہنچے اسیر شام سے
علی محمد محمد رضا بھائی، ریاض جعفری بھائی اور علی جعفری کے صحت و سلامتی کے لیے، توفیقات میں اضافے کے لیے ایک دفعہ بآواز بلند صلوات پڑھ دیجئے. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. مومنات، آپ لوگوں کے علم میں ہے کہ آج 29 سفر ہے اور رویت ہلال ربیع الاول کے حوالے سے آپ لوگوں کو جیسے ہی ہمیں اپڈیٹس ملے گی نارتھ امریکہ ہلال کمیٹی سے تو ہم آپ لوگوں کو جو ہے اس سے انفارم کر دیں گے کل ربیع الاول ہے یا کل 30 سفر ہے. اور یہ خمسہ مجالس کی جو مجلسیں تھیں انگلش میں، آج بھی انگلش میں ہے، کل بھی، آج اس کی سیکنڈ لاسٹ مجلس ہے، کل اس کی لاسٹ مجلس ہے. تو آپ تمام مومنین و مومنات سے، بالخصوص ان مومنین و مومنات سے جنہوں نے ہم سے ریکویسٹ کی تھی کہ انگلش کے اشرے زیادہ رکھے جائیں، ان کو اردو میں مجلس سمجھنے میں دشواری ہو رہی ہے، تو ان سے گزارش یہی ہے کہ اس اپرچونٹی سے فائدہ اٹھائیں اور اس مجلس اعظم میں زیادہ سے زیادہ تعداد میں شرکت کر کے قبلہ کی یہاں پر جو علم سے وہ ہمیں مفید فرما رہے اس سے آپ لوگ بھی بھرپور فائدہ اٹھائیں. ایک شعر اور پھر میں قبلہ کو دعوت زیب منبر دوں گا. شرف کے شہر میں ہر بام ادر حسین کا ہے، شرف کے شہر میں ہر بام ادر حسین کا ہے، زمانے بھر کے گھرانوں میں گھر حسین کا ہے. حضور شافع محشر علی کہیں کہ یہ شخص، حضور شافع محشر علی کہیں کہ یہ شخص گناہگار بہت ہے مگر حسین کا ہے. میں اسی کے ساتھ ملتمس ہوں قبلہ مولانا سید حسن مجتبہ رضوی صاحب سے کہ وہ آئیں اور آج کی مجلس سے خطاب فرمائیں. نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ حیدری. حسینیت زندہ باد، حسینیت زندہ باد، یزیدیت، یزیدیت. محمد وآل محمد بآواز بلند صلوات.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ رب العالمین وبہ نستعین والصلاة والسلام علی اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین حبیب قلوبنا و طبیب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمین ابی القاسم محمد اللہم صلی اللہ علیہ والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the one who is all-knowing, the one who is all-wise, the one who is all-powerful, the one who is all-merciful. The occultation of the Imam of the time is one of the greatest tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained for humanity. Every prophet, before they were to come, the next prophet, there was a time period in which there was a time lapse in which the next prophet was going to come. So you can say that the individuals who were waiting after Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, they had to wait for approximately, you can say, about 500 years for the advent of the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now during that process, there were prophecies as well that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam gave, or it was the people of the time knew that there were signs by which when those signs appear, then the last prophet that has been promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to appear. So now for the ghaibat of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, which is coming close to 1200 years. There's never been a time in which humanity had to suffer or had to be tested for that long period of time. So now you can take a look at the occultation in many different angles. One, if you take a look at it as a test, then we need to prepare ourselves because we are being tested. We need to understand that this ghaibat-e-kubra, the larger occultation of the Imam, is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that this test we need to recognize and be aware that we are being tested. Meaning, we cannot just sit down, do our day-to-day life, and pretend as if nothing is wrong. Now, one angle or one idea I wanted to share is perhaps it relates to the topic, but it also has a practical aspect for all of us that in your day-to-day life. And you might also have a question in your mind about this too. That why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test? So one of the teachers, he compiled 4 reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests. And I think if those 4 reasons you keep it in your mind, then when you are being tested, you're not going to look at the test as negative. The thing with students is that as soon as it's announced that you're going to have an exam or you're going to be tested, we get negative feelings. We get anxious, we get anxiety, we get stressed, and there's no student who would say that I would like to give a test. They would all try to avoid it, but as a student, you can't avoid tests. You're going to have to. But a student that looks at the test as a positive, that this is something positive. Out of this test, I'll be able to figure out how much I know, and then I'll be able to get to the next level and in a higher grade or in a higher position of learning. And if I don't do well, then at least I know what I've done wrong, and I can redo the test and get myself to go forward in my education. But naturally, tests are not looked upon as something positive. So the first reason was given is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests human beings that need cleansing. They have sins accumulated, and these sins need to be cleansed from them. Okay. So in this process of cleansing, you can have even a person who's a non-believer. Right? It can be a believer or it can be a non-believer. For a non-believer, when they go through difficulties in their life and their sins are cleansed, they become sort of pure, they get to a state where they might be inclined towards Islam. They might be inclined towards finding the true God. They might be inclined towards finding the true religion. So it becomes positive for them. Although they went through difficulties, hardships, like, for example, health issues, could be financial issues, might be from the children that they were tested, or property, all of these things that we go through in our lives. Okay? So if you look at nowadays, non-Muslims were put into a test where they had to show that they are a human being. Okay? Like in the matter of Gaza, It's a litmus test whether you're a human being or not. So they have proven that they are a human being. Why? Because one of the qualities of a human being is empathy. The human being is that being that can look at the pain of others and put themselves in their shoes. Although animals have this sort of quality as well, but it's not empathy. It's instinct based on survival. Right? So there will be mothers, animals that will raise orphans. Right? There will be, for example, in elephants as well, and then even in domestic animals, that a cow would raise these orphans as if they're their own children. Now this sort of emotion, you can say, that is shown by the animal is through instinct, and it's instinct Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed for survival. That if you don't take care of these orphans, they're going to die. And then you, as a herd of animals, you're also going to perish. So in their instinct, they have this motherly love or care for the pack, and they raise their children. Okay? And you can see that human beings today have become actually worse than animals. A mother cow can raise orphans, but a human mother, right, even does not want to raise her own children. Far be it that she raises orphans. Okay? So the first is, it's about cleansing. And these people who are showing up in the protests and so forth, they are being tested with their careers, with their future, with their even, physical pain. When they are arrested, if you've seen the videos, they're beaten up. Right? But when they go through these difficulties, they become cleansed. Therefore, you see now, there are many people who are converting or reverting to Islam. They are looking into the Holy Quran. There are many people who even are changing their mazhab. There are Sunni brothers who are looking at this event, and now they're more inclined towards the Shia mazhab. So the first reason is for cleansing. The second reason is they don't need cleansing, but they are heedless. They are heedless, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts them through tests so that they become aware. It's like an alarm clock. The test Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives so that this person who's sleeping wakes up. So in the forms of difficulties. Third type is that this person has certain, they don't need cleansing, they're not heedless. They have certain levels, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to increase in their levels. So they have patience, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to increase in their patience. Or they might have generosity, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test them so that they can get higher level of generosity. So that's 3. The 4th level of test is for Masumeen alayhi salam. They are Masoom, they don't need cleansing, they are always aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have all of the patience, truthfulness, and so forth. And they don't need any elevation in those attributes. They are already at the highest level. But their levels are shown by testing them so that their merit can be shown to the rest of humanity. Like Imam Hussaine's some test. He was tested in Karbala, pain. Right? Karb is pain, bala is test. Karbala meaning is the place where you are tested with pain. Now this pain was physical as well, it was emotional as well, right? And even spiritual too. Because Imam had to see that my grandfather, who had worked so hard, my father who had worked so hard, right? My brother who had worked so hard, for these people to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're going in the wrong path. So even the spiritual pain was there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put Imam Hussain in that test so that the rest of humanity can see the level that he has. Right? See? So these four reasons are for tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. Now let's try to connect with, as I said to you, that the occultation of the Imam, Ghabat al-Kubra, is a test. So what do you think would be the reasons that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us? Same reasons I just gave you. Right? So remember those, because the reason I've given you is four, is probably more than four people right now. So I can probably ask each one of you to give me one reason. See? For cleansing. Second person. You're next. Second reason, it doesn't have to be in order, anything. Okay, so elevate your levels in the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2. Third, we're just going like this. Heedlessness. That person is unaware, is heedless, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts him in a test. And whenever you are heedless of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you in a test, what happens to the person? Right away they'll get the janamas out, they'll start doing du'as, they'll start asking Moulanas, what to do to have more risk, or to get a job, or to get a son, or to get a daughter, or to get rid of cancer. Right? Before that they were heedless. Okay. Fourth, the tests that are given to the Masumin. The tests are given to elevate or to show the merits of the Masum. So if you look at these four, all four are there in the test that we are going through with the occultation of the Imam of the time. In this occultation, people are being cleansed. People are being tested so that they don't remain heedless. Right? When you talk to people when there are problems, what do we say? The only solution if the Imam was here. Right? When we see, for example, corruption in our own mazhab, when we see corruption in the Muslim ummah, when we see the oppression of the oppressors, right? When we see all of these problems, at the end we are saying that we need the Imam. There's no other way for the solution to these problems. Right? As far as our levels are concerned, right? We are being tested to develop, right, these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because you are now being turned away from the physicality of the Imam. Now you have to look towards the spiritual or the non-physical side of the Imam. So you can elevate your levels. The people who were present at the time of the Holy Prophet, they saw them, he was in front of them, and only to a certain level or degree they could elevate themselves. It was easy. Right? It was easy. But then, or even we can take the example of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. When Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was among his people, they were Muslim. Right? They were Muslims, they were claiming to submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had gone through this amazing miracle in which the sea was parted and they were able to run away from Pharaoh, and Pharaoh was given the punishment. So they had seen that. It was very easy. They were all Muslims. They all claimed themselves to be mu'mins. But when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam went, he said 30, but it happened 40 days, and there was a representative of Hazrat Musa, which was Hazrat Harun alayhi salam, was still present. But this ghaibat, this Hazrat Musa not being there as a test, the same people, when he comes back, have reverted to being unbelievers. Right? So, but the ones who, let's say, stayed, the ones who stayed as believers, they elevated themselves. Right? Because when the things were difficult and Musa is not there, they still kept their faith. So now that the Imam of the time is in Ghaibat Kubra, if you still are able to keep your faith, you're still able to acquire the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're still able to have a good character. In that test, you are being pushed away from physicality, from 3 dimensions, from means. You're being pushed away. So you try to connect with the attributes of the Imam. See, in terms of occultation, there is one occultation which is occultation. In terms of zuhur, there is one zuhur which is amumi, zuhur amumi, which means that the Imam is going to appear for everybody. Wherever you need me, I'll translate it into Urdu. Because although the speech is supposed to be in English, but I think the audience are more of the Urdu, so if it's a problem, I'll translate to Urdu. No. So ज़हूर अमूमी का मतलब है कि इमाम जब ज़ाहिर होंगे, एक ज़हूर वो होगा जो कि सारों के लिए होगा. ठीक है, वो ज़हूर कौन सा है कि जब इमाम ज़मान साहब खाना काबा के पास खड़े होके ऐलान करेंगे कि मैं आ गया हूँ अपने जद के खून का बदला लूँगा. So when he stands near the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says that I've come, this is ज़हूर अमूमी. Then there is another kind of ज़हूर which is ज़हूर istarari. ज़हूर istarari means that there is no choice. Zuhur istirari means there is no choice in the appearance of the Imam. Now what is that Zuhur istirari? Because you normally us in our minds is just Zuhur amumi. Right? And we only have Ghaibat Kubra and Ghaibat Sughra. So because we have 2 hours, so I thought maybe go into a little bit of this topic and try to connect a few dots in the next 2 hours. Zuhur istirari is when you die. When a person dies, you will see the Imam. Okay? You have no choice. When a person dies, they see Imam Ali alayhi salam, they see the angels, they see Imam Masumin, they see the Imam of the time. So for a person who dies, now this is Zuhur istirari. You are now standing in front of the Imam of the time. Now you're standing in front of Imam Ali alayhi salam. You cannot run away. Whether you're a good person or you're a bad person. When someone dies, according to traditions, when someone dies, they see Ahlul Bayt, they see the truth. Imam Ali is the truth, and the truth is with him, and so is Imam Zaman, so is the Holy Prophet, so is the angels. Right? So reality is shown to you. So that's called Zuhur istirari. So even if in your life you don't see Zuhur amumi, you're going to die. And when you die, Zuhur istirari is there. The third type of Zuhur is Zuhur shakhsi, which means that it is the appearance of the Imam for the individual. Okay? 3 types of Zuhurs. Zuhur amumi, thank you, shakhsi. Okay? Yes. So Zuhur amumi means general appearance of the Imam. Zuhur istirari means that without choice, Imam is going to appear, meaning when you die, right? And Zuhur shakhsi meaning for individual. The appearance of the Imam for an individual. Okay? This Zuhur shakhsi is by choice. Okay? Zuhuri Amumi, we have a choice in that too. We do have a choice, but this choice is mixed with the choice of humanity. It's not just based on your efforts. With me? The general appearance of the Imam requires that because he is here for all of humanity, that all of humanity must make those right decisions to become ready or have the capacity or to have the merit for the Imam of the time to appear. And in that, the enemy is also there. The enemy's choice is also there. That they will get themselves to the point where they will think that they are the greatest Lord of people. That they will say, Ana Rabbakumul A'la. They will think of themselves as gods, as pharaohs, who can determine the life and the death of people. And if you see the oppressors of today, they are like pharaohs. They say to you, either you're with us or against us. Meaning what? You don't really have a choice. If you're with us, you have heaven come over, no problems. If you're against us, you are in hell. If you comply with what we say, we will let you live. But if you don't comply with what we say, then you will die. So the enemy, for the general appearance of the Imam, has to come to the point where they get to this point, and then the Imam appears, and they fall down from the height where they were thinking that Ana Rabbakumul A'la, to the point where they realized they were nothing in this scheme of the whole creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Fir'aun felt. He reached a height, and then he fell. So in Zuhuri Amumi, our choice is dependent with the choice of humanity. And in that, I can tell you that I've never seen in my life so many people becoming aware of justice and oppression. In my own life, I've never seen it. In all of the world, not just specifically for our Muslim countries. In Muslim countries, people are more likely sleeping anyways. They don't really care about justice or oppression. But if you look at the world has woken up. Right? This was required for Zuhuri Amumi. And it was like no matter how much you protested, right? Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the tawfiq that for 30 years been protesting. But when we were protesting, there was 30 people, 20 people, then those 20, 30 people became 100 people, 200 people, then those 100, 200 people became thousands of people, 14,000, 20,000, and then became millions. But when we were 30 or 40, I remember here, even in this city, we were protesting, there's like 20 people. Right? And then now, in the last protest that I attended, there were 4,000 people. And from our community, there was 26. So maybe still the same number. But there were those individuals that you would never think they would show up in a protest. So this was not part of, all we could do is keep protesting. Right? But the rest of the people had to make the choice themselves. So in Zuhuri Amumi, it's a shared choice. In Zuhuri Istirari, there's no choice. You're going to die. And the oppressor will see the Imam, and the oppressed will see the Imam. The good person will see the Imam, the bad person will see the Imam. There's no choice. You die. Now the main appearance of the Imam is Zuhuri Shakhsi, which now you have as an individual a choice. That for an individual, Imam can appear. Should be interesting. So how is it possible that for an individual, Imam can appear? So inshallah, mainly on this idea, we'll spend the next an hour and a half, not today completely, but in the next 2 days. My request would be, and I don't really need to make a request because I know requests are made to people who are present. People who are absent, You cannot make a request to them. So when you say, come to the Majlis, the ones who are already there, you can't make a request to them, they're already here. And you cannot request people who are not there. Right? So there are two reasons for the ghaibat of the Imam. One is heedlessness. Because of our own ghaflat, because of our own heedlessness, the occultation is getting longer and longer. तो एक वजह इमाम के 1200 साल तकरीबन हो गए ग़ैबत कुबरा की, वो ये है कि जो हम लोग हैं ना गफलत में, और ये जो गफलत है वो ज़हूर इमाम, ज़हूर अमूमी को तुला नहीं कर रही। इसका ताल्लुक डायरेक्टली हमारी अवेयरनेस के साथ। ठीक है। एक जो दूसरी बात है कि जिसकी वजह से जो है वो the second reason why the appearance of the Imam is getting delayed is because when first one sentence that was left, the reason why we are heedless is because we truly do not need the Imam. The reason why we're heedless is because we don't need the Imam. If you look at whatever you need, you're not heedless of that. Okay? Whatever you need, you're not heedless of that. You're actually always, it's in the back of your mind or the front of your mind. You're never heedless. Like if you need chemotherapy for your cancer, you're always aware that you need chemotherapy. Why? Because it's your need. You think of that as a matter of life and death. If we had looked at this need of the Imam to appear as a matter of life and death, we would not be heedless. Because anything that we have in our lives that we think we need, we're always aware of that. Even like a small thing like paying a bill. Your deadline for the car insurance was today. From morning till the time you pay your car insurance, you have this in the back of your mind or in the front of your mind that I have to pay. Because you feel that as your need. Yes? And the asul or qanoon or the sunnat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His rule is that He will only provide what the creation feels is their need. This is also another way for you to get your du'as accepted. If you really need something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give to you because this is the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ये खुदा का कानून है कायनात में कि मखलूक को जो चीज़ उसकी न्याज है वो क्योंकि बेनियाज है वो देता है उस न्याज को. अगर न्याज नहीं है वो नहीं देता. अगर ज़रूरत नहीं है, if you don't need it, He doesn't give it to you. For example, if you look at the creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give eyes to a worm. Why did He not give eyes to the worm? Everything else has eyes, for example. Why does the worm not have eyes? Because the worm doesn't need it. If the worm needed it and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give it, then there will be an objection on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the worm needed eyes and you did not give it to him. The people in the last 1200 years cannot say this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that for the last 1200 years, you did not bring the Imam of the time. You did not have the appearance of the Imam of the time. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, you did not need him. If you needed him, I would have. My rule is, if you need, I will give. The worm has 5 hearts. Why does a worm have 5 hearts? Because it needs it. You have one heart, he has 5. The reason why we are heedless is because we don't need the imam. हम सिर्फ लफाजी करते हैं. हम दुआएं इमाम के लिए जो पढ़ते हैं वो सिर्फ लफाजी होती है, हकीकत में नहीं होती. एक कस्टम, एक ट्रेडिशन है कि अल्लाहुम्मा कुल्ले वली कल हुज्जत इब्न हसन हमने पढ़ना है नमाज के बाद. ये कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है हमें इमाम की. If you think about Imam, if he was to come today, your whole life will be upside down. Who wants their life to be upside down? We don't even want a little bit of discomfort. Somebody comes and your life is 180. Who wants it? No one. Right or no? COVID came, your life was 180. Yes? I remember, it's not that far away. You couldn't go see your mother, you could not see your own brother. You were put into a prison in your own home for 14 days. You could not even see your wife or children. Food was given to you as a prisoner. They won't even come inside, they will leave it on the door, come pick it up. You couldn't go to work. People had to be given money, loans. You could not go shopping the way you wanted to. Everything was turned upside down, 180. When Imam comes, you think our lives are going to be okay? Do we really think that? This one little virus brought the 8 billion people on their knees, and their lives are 180. Here the Hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appears beside the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says, I'm here to take the revenge of the blood of my grandfather. And you think the world is going to remain the same? Everything will change in your life. We don't want that. हमें नहीं चाहिए. हमें ऐसे ही चाहिए जैसे सुबह हुई 9 से 5 काम किया, घर आए, थोड़ा टीवी देखा, खाना पिया, थोड़ी सी मसलन सैर व तफरी की, बच्चों के साथ वक्त गुजारा, बीवी के साथ रहे कि बस ठीक है, थोड़ी सोशलाइजेशन की, बिल्स पे किए, जॉब पे गए, थोड़ी सेंटर में आए, थोड़ी सी आकर दिखाई मैं ये हूँ मैं वो हूँ लोगों के सामने, थोड़े 2-4 लोगों ने सलाम कर दिया आपको अच्छी तरीके से, पाकिस्तान में 2-4 कॉलें कर लीं, सब खैरियत है, किसी यतीम का पता लग गया तो एहसान करके $10, $20, $100 दे दिए, आके नमाज़ें पढ़ लीं, रोज़े रख लिए, हज पे निकल गए, ज़ियारतें कर ली, बहुत बड़े दीनदार हैं और सब चीज़ें ठीक है. हमें ये चाहिए. इमाम, when Imam comes, this is not going to be. So, एक सलवात पढ़ें मोहम्मद. So, one of the reasons for Ghaibat Kubra to stay so long is because of our heedlessness. The second reason for Ghaibat is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to elevate you. And this elevation cannot happen without Ghaibat Kubra. You see, He has seen, and not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs to see, we have seen that there were 12 Imams of the time. Imam Ali alayhi salam, although in the time of Imam Ali you have Imam Hassan, you have Imam Hussain, but Imam of the time is one. Okay. We saw what people did with the Imam of the time. They burned his house, they put him in shackles, they tied him up with rope, they put a rope in his neck, they dragged him while his house was being burnt. And as he looks towards the grave of the Holy Prophet, he says, Ya Rasulullah, these people have made me weak. And this is what they're doing with me. They have become ready to kill me. These are his words. This was the condition of the Imam of the time. Second Imam, his funeral was not protected. His funeral, on his coffin, on his dead body, arrows were thrown. They're not letting the Imam of the time's body to be buried in peace. They're throwing arrows at it. And the arrows goes in his dead body. And his brother has to take them out while he tries to bury them. Third Imam of the time, 3 days, thirsty, neck cut, brought on a spear. Paraded in the marketplaces of the city where his father was the ruler. Fourth Imam, Imam of the time, poison. Fifth Imam, you go through the Imams of the time, all 11 of them. What did the people do? And why were they able to do this? After such a huge sacrifice, such a huge becoming apparent who the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are, in Karbala, there was no confusion who the enemies of Allah are and who are the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was made clear, this is right and this is wrong. This is black and this is white. Right? After such a big event, shouldn't Imam Sajjad ﷺ have the support? Shouldn't he be given the right which is his right given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That he should have that position of imamat, not that he wasn't the imam, but the responsibility of the imam that is supposed to be the governance of people. One of the responsibilities. Shouldn't he have had it? A person comes to Imam Sajjad, says, how are you? Imam says, it's very sad that you don't know my condition. There are not 20 people in Medina who say salam to me. After such a big event, being black and white, the city of Medina was known as a city of singing and dancing, where women were trained to sing, where horses were put into the mosques. The mosque became stable for horses, where there was so much blood on the street that the hoofs of the horses were drowned in it. You couldn't see the hoofs of the horses. Why did it happen? 6th Imam, 7,000, 8,000, just students. At his time, there were hundreds and thousands of people who claimed themselves to be Shias. His son's body is there, no one's lifting it. Workers have to lift it. When the Imam of the time is asked, the 6th Imam is the Imam of the time, I want you to understand, each Imam was the Imam of the time. It's not just the last Imam. Every Imam in his time is the Imam of the time. He was asked, why don't you stand up and take your right? After Zohran prayers, Imam answered to him. He said, you see this child taking care of these baby sheep? He said, count them. I don't have that many. There were 17. The 6th Imam did not have 17 people. You keep going, you'll see that the physical aspect of the Imam of the time in front of the people is not good enough for their guidance and for them to elevate themselves. But instead, what do? They martyr them. If they haven't reached a certain level, they will martyr the Imam of the time. So this Ghaibat-e-Kubra is giving us time, because we are now completely separated from the physicality of the Imam of the time. In this time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely detaching you from the 3 dimensions and telling you that you should attach yourself to the non-physical side of the Imam of the time. हुआ नहीं हुआ? अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने ग़ैबत कुबरा की दो वजह, एक वजह ये कि लोगों की गफलत, ठीक है, दूसरी वजह ये है कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला इस ग़ैबत कुबरा में आपको हर वो चीज़ जो कि 3 डायमेंशनल है, जिसको कि आप समझते हैं कि वो कोई चीज़ है, उन सब चीज़ों से खुदा आपको डिटैच कर रहा है। आप समझते थे कि मिंबर से आपको हिदायत मिलेगी, मिंबर पे बैठने वाले आके अब MI6 और बाकी लोगों का एजेंडा आगे करते हैं, आपको अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने उससे डिटैच किया। वो आके वो बातें कर रहे हैं जो कि आपको भी पता है, सब बच्चों को भी पता है कि कॉमन सेंस की बातें नहीं है। अल्लाह ने आपको डिटैच किया कि आप निकलो हक के लिए, आप समझो हक क्या है, आप समझो कि बातिल क्या है, ताकि कोई आपको आके बनी उमैया की तरह मिंबर पे बैठ के प्रोग्राम गुमराह ना कर सके। ये अब आपके ऊपर है। आप समझते थे कि फलां बंदा ये मेरा काम कर देगा, अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने वो वसीला आपसे छीन लिया। मतलब ग़ैबत कुबरा में खुदा आपको सारे वसाइल से काट देगा, जिसको आप समझते थे कि वो कुछ हैं, आपको उस जगह पे खड़ा करेगा कि आपको खुद जानना पहचानना पड़ेगा इमाम के किरदार को, इमाम के सिफ़ात को, इमाम की रूहानियत को, खुद से। Is this understood or no? Should we go? So which is the non-physical side of the Imam of the time? Every good deed is a non-physical side of the Imam. Generosity, if you show, is a non-physical side level of existence of the Imam. The sixth Imam has said, and the rest of the Imams, they have said that we are the root of everything that is good. We are the root of everything that is good. It is through our root that every branch which is good is germinated. Meaning what? If you were to have a non-physical existence of truth, in that non-physical existence of truth, you will see Imam Sadiq. Don't we say that Hazrat Abbas is the embodiment of loyalty? Yes or no? Hazrat Abbas पैकर हैं किस चीज़ के? वफा के। ये जो हज़रत अब्बास पैकर हैं वफा के, ये उनके जिस्म मुताहर के साथ नहीं है, ये उनके उस वजूद के लिए बात कही जा रही है जिसके के अंदर ये मादा नहीं है, फिजिकलिटी नहीं है, 3 dimensions नहीं है। ये उनके किरदार की बात हो रही है कि जो उनका किरदार है वो वजूद है जो कि नॉन फिजिकल है। So every good deed, the non-physical side of Aima, every good deed is the non-physical side of the Aima Masumin. हुआ नहीं हुआ? नहीं हुआ। सलावत पढ़े मोहम्मद। We say that Imam Ali alayhi salam is the embodiment of courage. So the embodiment of courage, when we say of Imam Ali alayhi salam, is not the physical body. A person came and saw Imam Ali alayhi salam eating the food, and he saw his food was one dried bread that you had to like break it on your knee with a bit of water. And he had heard that there is this person who had lifted the door of Khaybar with his 2 fingers and thrown it, and that door was so heavy that 80 people would have to move it. He had thrown it and it flew, and it had made a bridge for the enemy, for the army to come and take over that castle. So he was expecting someone with a lot, physically, a very, very strong-looking person. And Imam Ali alayhi salam physically did look strong. But when he looked at his food, he said that, are you the same person? Because he would think that maybe he would eat, 1 or 2 goats, or half a camel, drink like 10, 20 liters of milk. You know, someone like this. Imam is having bread that you couldn't even break it on your knee with the water. Imam said, I am that person. But I did not lift Khaybar with the power of my arm. I lifted Khaybar with the power of my conviction. So Imam Ali alayhi salam is the embodiment of bravery. But the bravery in what sense? In the power of his conviction. यानी इमाम पैकर हैं शुजात के, लेकिन किस अंदाज से? वो पैकर हैं शुजात के कि जहां पे शुजात का जिस्मी वजूद नहीं है. साथ हैं? Imam Masumin alayhi salam are all alive. If they are martyrs, don't say to those people who have, been martyred in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as dead. They are alive and they are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having sustenance. The Imam Sajjad is alive. At what level of existence is he alive? When you are engrossed with complete attention in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are meeting Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. You are actually meeting Imam Sajjad alayhi salam on that level of existence where he's alive, where he's the embodiment of the spiritual engrossment, love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's okay. So we have another hour and 10 minutes, we'll do it. So everybody, this is just to have this point become solid. When the Imam of the time will appear, everybody will say that I've seen him before. Whether it's a bad person or a good person, everybody is going to say, of the whole world, they will say, I have seen him before. Now, have they seen the physicality of the Imam? Have they seen the physical? They were connected to another level of existence of the Imam, that when they see the physical Imam, they say that I have seen him before. There's a tradition that says, Imam Zaman says that I visit your homes. He says that I visit your homes, I am walking in the marketplace. I visit your homes. Imam is saying, I visit your homes, that means he visits your homes. He says that I'm in the marketplace, I'm aware of you. Does that mean the physical existence of the Imam or another existence? When you bring goodness in your home, it is the visit of the Imam. जब आप घर में तकवा को लेकर आते हैं ना, क्योंकि तकवा के जो पैकर हैं वो इमाम ज़मान अलैहिस्सलाम हैं, तो ये ऐसे ही है जैसे वो आपके घर में आए. और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ ऐसे ही है, हालांकि है यही, लेकिन आपके लिए कह रहा हूँ कि ये ऐसे ही है. अगर आपकी वो आंख खुली होती तो आप देखते कि इमाम आपके घर में आए. Now, so if you do something good, because they have said that we are the root of everything good, and it is from this root that all the branches of good are there. They also said that our enemies are the root of everything that is evil, and from this root all of the branches of evil germinate. So now when you do anything good in the house, that means that you have the Imam of the time there. If you do anything which is bad, which is the asal root of the enemy of the Imam, that means that enemy is in your house. Do we not say that shaitan is in our house today? If you can say that shaitan is in our house today, how can you not say that the Imam is in your house? Do you see shaitan in your house? You see it physically? No. You know that YouTube is there. You know that the internet is there. You know that, the sources that are that can be utilized as the enemy of Imam are there in your houses. When if I was to visit someone's house, they will have like all of the movies and all that, they'll put them away. Why? Just leave them there. No, Moulana Sahib will see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing. When I go in, the woman will go through like a dupatta. Why? Because Moulana Sahib can see. Imam Zaman is alive, he can see. He has visited your home. If you have ever done anything good, he's visited your home. You don't care about that? You don't worry about that? Right? So, the non-physical side of the Imam. I will keep explaining. I have another hour after the last Majlis. I'll keep explaining, because if you can understand this concept of Zuhur-e-Shakhsi, it will give you motivation. Because in Zuhur-e-Amumi, sometimes we feel hopeless. And in Zuhur-e-Istirari, we're going to see Imam anyways. It is the Zuhur-e-Shakhsi that gives you the motivation, where you have the choice for this appearance of the Imam for yourself. Okay? So, the hadith says that the Imam of the time in Ghaibat-e-Kubra is like the sun behind the clouds. Is the sun there? If it's behind the clouds? Yes. Can you see the physical side of the sun? You can't. The clouds are there, it's all dark. You can't see the physical side of the sun. You can feel the heat, you can have a little bit of light, but that round wall, you don't see it. If someone says, no, the sun is not there, say, no, sun is there. I just can't see the physical side, that round. But can you feel that the sun is there? The warmth is there, the light is there. Can you see it? Yes. Has the clouds put the sun in occultation from you? Only the physical side. The rest of the sun is there. The warmth is there, the light is there. All you need to do, if somebody asks you, is the sun there? You say, yes. You say, can you see the sun? I can see the light of the sun. That means the sun is there. Right? You don't deny it. And you don't say, no, I cannot see the sun. Well, you can, because light is there. Yes? So in Zuhur-e-Shakhsi, the person is feeling the existence of the sun without the physicality. He's feeling the existence of the Imam without the physical form of the Imam. Why? Because the physical form of the Imam has been hidden by the Ghaibat-e-Kubra. There's another way you can have the cloud see physically as well. The sun physically as well. If you've taken a plane, you go above the cloud, the sun is there everywhere. मुझे उर्दू में ट्रांसलेट करना पड़ रहा है। जब आप जहाज में बैठते हैं और आप बादलों से ऊपर चले जाते हैं, तो आपको हर जगह क्या नजर आता है? सूरज नजर आता है। अब वो बादल, वजह क्या थी कि आप सूरज को नीचे नहीं देख पा रहे थे, बादलों के पीछे छुपा हुआ था। वो ये नहीं था कि सूरज ने कोई आपको मना किया था कि ऊपर ना आओ। ये हमारा था। आपने अपने आप को बुलंद किया, आपने सूरज को देख लिया। तो ग़ैबत-ए-कुब्रा में भी यही है। आप अपने आप को बुलंद तो करो। आप अपने आप को बुलंद करोगे तो जहां देखोगे सवाए इमाम के आपको और कोई चीज नजर नहीं आएगी। मसला सूरज के साथ और बादलों के साथ नहीं है, मसला हमारे साथ है। We are not willing to elevate ourselves. If you elevate yourself from the darkness of the evil of the clouds that have come in front of us, all you will see is the sun. All you will see is the Imam. So this Zuhur-e-Shakhsi is possible. And it's only up to you and me. But this zuhur shakhsi will happen for individuals without the physical body of the Imam. For some, if they elevate themselves all the way there, they will also have the meeting with the Imam in the physical form. So, one of the main reasons why Ghaibat-e Kubra is there, so that the people who martyred the 11 Imams of the time, when their physical body was in front of them, this needs to be taken away so that humanity elevates itself from the physicality and starts going into the non-physical. And as they go into the non-physical, they will go towards the goodness. When they go towards the goodness, the non-physical side of goodness is nothing else but the Imam of the time. And that cannot happen without Ghaibat-e Kubra. If this was not the case, imagine, the Imam is there, Imam has appeared, the physical form, okay? And he says that I'm here to take the revenge of the blood of my grandfather. And people are still stuck in the physical. Majority of the people might just deny because the physical doesn't fit what was in their minds. They'll say, well, your color is a bit dark. Your color is a bit dark. I was expecting a bit of a fair person. Your hair is not long enough. Your nose is not, the right nose that I was thinking. You cannot be the Imam. You think this will not happen? Imam Taqi alayhi's skin color was a little bit dark. His skin color was a little bit dark. His Imam Raza alayhi's own companions who were very close to the Imam, and I will call Imam Raza now Imam of the time, they came to Imam Raza and said, Ma'azallah, this is now your son. This is now your son. Because your skin color is fair and his skin color is dark. If I was to translate that into Urdu, this will look even more ugly as a statement of what they said. Then Imam Raza took Imam Taqi to one of the persons that they deemed to be capable, who knew the genealogy and the history of families. When this person authenticated that Imam Taqi is the son of Imam Raza, then they accepted him. Why did they deny the son of the Imam? Just because skin color. You think if those people can do it, we won't do it when Imam comes? Right? Imam Hassan Imam Hassan is sending whole 10,000 people in his army towards Muawiyah, towards the enemy, who had seen Imam Hassan, who had spent time with Imam Hassan, who accepted Imam Hassan as Imam Hassan. Right? Right? They sold out. You think we won't do it? Somebody comes along and says to you, listen, you don't need to go. First of all, you don't know if this is the Imam of the time. Second, you stay here, I will give you money as well, comfort. I'll give you, right? You stay here. You think we won't sell out Imam? But then you think, even to the point where Hazrat Mukhtar had done what, as far as the companions are concerned, Hazrat Mukhtar, he had done what he deemed his responsibility to take the revenge of the blood of Imam Hussain. He brought the enemies, he asked them, what did you do? We have the maqtal, a lot of the things that these people said, we have part of the history, right? And then he punished them, right? And he did what he thought as his responsibility towards the Imam. But when Imam Hassan had said a few things, one was mainly that he wants to do a peace treaty with Muawiyah. What did Hazrat Mukhtar do? Hazrat Mukhtar left Imam Hassan and went and started doing farming. A companion of Imam Hassan to that degree, to that level. He was in the prison when Imam Hussain was martyred. And if you've looked through his life story in the serial, you'll see that he regretted. You think if Hazrat Mukhtar, a personality like Hazrat Mukhtar, will become angry with the Imam of the time because he disagrees with the Imam. Imagine Imam of the time coming and saying, what is this gold on the tombs of Imam Hussain? Take this off. Why you put gold on the tombs? Beside the haram of Imam Hussain and Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, there are poor people who are dying of hunger. They don't have homes. Take this gold and give it to them. Help these people out. He comes to you and says, why did you spend $7 million on your center? Who said to you to make it such a glamorous center? A center is supposed to be simple. You took my money to show off that you guys are something, that you did not care. You cared about your own pocket when we were spending, but you did not care when it came to my pocket. There are centers that are worth $32 million. You go to the masjid, there is a fanus like this, $150,000. You think if Imam comes and says, why you've done this? Who told you to do it? When for $150,000, we could have had a center in a place where there are very few Shias and they need a place to worship. You think people are not going to say anything? They will become upset. But Imam, we did this for you. He will say, whose son am I? I am the son of Imam Ali, Amirul Mu'minin, Ali ibn Abi Talib, who was not willing to share, waste one drop of oil of Baitul Mal. You think I will be okay with that? People will be against him. So if you understand this, and we will talk more about it, but what will they do to the Imam of the time? Kya karenge unke saath? They will stand against him. There will be people who will claim that I am with the Imam of the time. They will go with them, and when the time comes, they will leave the Imam of the time. Just like the people in Kufa. 18,000 people did bayat. Time came, they left the Imam of the time, Imam Hussain. They left the Imam of the time. Even to this point, we have in traditions that in the last days, when the two armies of Dajjal and Imam Zaman are face to face, there will still be some people who will go from the army of the Imam to the army of Dajjal, and there will be people from the army of Dajjal who will go to the army of the Imam. Till the last war, till the end, this will be the condition. We are not going to have this anymore. Karbala was enough. Karbala was enough. We're not going to have this anymore. We're not going to have the Imam of the time, his head to be cut and put on a spear. We're not going to have the daughters of the Prophet in ropes paraded into the streets. We are not going to have that. We're not going to have a 4-year-old child's face become blue because of the slaps of her. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have a 13-year-old boy's body cut into pieces where the Imam of the time has to go and pick up those pieces in his own abba and bring that to the mother of that boy. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have the Imam of the time made prisoners and whose back is going to be hit. We're not going to have that. What will happen now is just the opposite. It will be the revenge. It will be not like this. That they will be put, one of the things about Imam Sajjad al-Sabsam, when he came back in Medina, people came to greet him. When they would greet him, they would hug him. When they would hug him, their neck would touch the neck of the Imam. And Imam Sajjad would say, please, try to keep a little bit of distance from my neck, because my wounds are still there. It was the iron necklace that I was given that had nails inside. And those nails have made these marks. And these wounds are still, it hurts me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you out of your grace and mercy to give us the opportunity to know the non-physical side of the Imam of the time, that we be his companions and that he appears as soon as possible.
جنگل میں بھرے گھر کو لٹا آئی ہے زینب، اے شہر مدینہ جنگل میں بھرے گھر کو لٹا ارے عابد کو کسی طرح بچا لائی ہے زینب، اے شہر مدینہ جنگل میں بھرے گھر کو لٹائی ہے زینب، ارے بندھوا کے رسن ہاتھوں پہ اور خطبے سنا کر گھر بار لٹا کر گھر بار لٹا کر دیوار بڑے کفر کے ڈھائی ہے زینب، اے شہر مدینہ جنگل میں بھرے گھر کو لٹا آئی ہے زینب، اے شہر مدینہ، ارے جس گھر
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم ان اللہ و ملائکتہ یصلون علی